Let me be an inspiration for you. Are you ready?
Okay, yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
Wait a second, wait a moment.
What did you think I was saying when I said lubrication? Okay, fine.
Okay, guys.
Oh, thank God.
Okay, so today topics gonna be a little bit strange for y'all. I chose this, but I would like to show you my summarized effects of my investigation, which I have conducted for the Holy Bible case.
Whoa.
And some brief facts about real Christianity and some evil facts about religion.
Whoa.
As well as some of the prophecies that are fulfilling right now. That I encourage you to all check for yourselves as well. At first, I want to say that 2 years ago, I was an atheist who openly was rejecting all divine stories, despite being raised in Catholic family, and I took all the sacraments. Yeah, I bet the similar case is with you, that you all was raised up with in the Catholic families, but not practicing any religion right now. But everything's changed since I started to investigating by myself. I started reading the scriptures because I had pretty dramatic experiences in my life, and to be just
Finish your thought.
to be just plain thought. I'm not in any religion right now. I just left Catholic church for good. I'm not in some kind of congregation or nothing, but I read scriptures every day. Since I started investigating it's opened my mind so much that I didn't even expected that in my life. I've been reading many books, like, for self extensions, to be more reliant on myself, to build self-awareness and things like that, but that's all bullshit comparing to real Bible and real God of Bible. So I'm gonna show you some. Yep.
So you're speaking about the Bible as a guide to like morality and ethical behavior.
Oh yeah, as well. But basically about everything, keys to the life. Since I started applying it, my anxiety just was removed in an instant. Yeah.
I just want to say that, for me it's lubrication. Kind of did the same thing for me, kind of revelation.
Yeah. Yeah.
My sister was a demon child.
Yeah.
She was an awful, horrible, terrible person, causing all kinds of problems for my family and my parents when she was a teenager. I was the complete opposite, by the way. And then she found Jesus or whatever. She converted to Christianity. Now she's like an evangelist, you know what I mean? And so anyway, she was a horrible, terrible person, about the age 19, 20, I don't remember. She found Jesus, and she's very nice. She became a very nice person.
This is a side effect of Bible and about faith, about real faith, because all my life I've been skeptic. I felt like I was being fooled, and that whole religion was made only to benefit from the poor people and gain prosperity and power by the clergy and Vatican. And you know what? I was 100% sure, 100% right about this, because in the Bible there's one big contradictions against, for example, the Catholic Church, and not only because all religion they are, basically Jesus throughout the whole scriptures wanted to destroy all religion, because religion is made by man, and the real faith in God, it's something that is not from this world. Yeah.
All opinions expressed are purely Michael's and not those of Merito or your English teacher.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I would like to show you some few clips, some few informations, and would like to show you some claims, because this institution as Catholic Church, as I said before, was created to oppress people and suppress the real living God of the Bible. So first, to start off, the fact that Jesus' activity was historically more documented than any historic figure in this area, long after him. He has been mentioned even by the skeptic historians, philosophers, atheists, writers, Jewish writers in antiquity. Yeah.
Sounds like you've done sort of a scientific.
Yeah.
Scientific's the wrong word, maybe. Scientific analysis.
Empirical, maybe.
Yeah, of the Bible.
Yeah.
So how reliable are the Gospels and the texts of the Bible?
100%. Back in the day, we only have some manuscripts from the Middle Age period and things like this. But recently, in 1940, there was a big discovery in Qumran in Israel, and some shepherds that was strolling with some cattle on the desert. They find just by accident they found big caves with some like pottery, antiquity pottery with manuscripts, and perfectly saved manuscripts from all of the era, even before the Christ. I'm going to show you with details, but first I would like to, and they compare it to what we had already, and after comparison, it came up that we have like 99% confirmation that what we had before, the older versions are pretty much the same. Only difference are with the punctuations and a little bit maybe literary style or things like this, but the concept and the punchline that Jesus was risen from the dead and that he was a Messiah, that he was a God, everything's covering up. Yeah.
So would you say that before the Dead Sea Scrolls were found, that the Bible we have is from oral history?
Oral history? No, not really. On the beginning, maybe even in before Christ, there was manuscripts that covering up it. For example, Isaiah scrolls, one of the oldest. Comparing this to the Qumran scrolls, everything is pretty much the same as we have. So yeah, and I encourage you to, because I was big skeptic. I was like researching all day when I tried to disprove whole Christianity, to be clear with you. But since I start to, like investigate more and try to disprove even more Bible, then Bible start to disprove me and all my sins, all my bad things, all my habits, all my things which was damaging me inside, everything starts to heal, And I was like biggest skeptic in my whole town, I was like laughing from the priest and things like this. I was like one big blasphemer, But everything starts since I start to open my heart from it. Yeah.
I would like to add something. So first of all, I also believe in Jesus, in God, and what I wanted to add from my side, that once I read that, because there were 12 disciples,
yeah,
and one thing is Bible, but the second, that it could not be conspiracy of the Jesus Christ lived, because all of them
differs.
They sacrificed their lives for the
exactly
Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
So it could not be just big lie that Jesus did not live.
Yeah.
Because all day.
And most of them was killed by very cruel way,
And my question is, have you heard about Enoch Bible?
Yeah, of course, Book of Enoch, yeah.
Yes.
Of course, but this is apocrypha. This is deuterocanonical book, which is not in for example, in Protestant Bibles. Bibles are differing.
It was not used in this Bible.
Enough, because but it's actually used in Ethiopian Bible. They like consisted in their
kind. Hot topic with this Enoch.
Yeah, and Book of Enoch is pretty good, like a scripture to to get a reference point about the Bible, because it's telling story about fallen angels and how the mankind was start to to be crossover with the fallen angels who was who fell down from the heaven with the Satan, and they start to copulating with each other and things get rough. So that's why the Ark of Noah then became, you know, the next point in the old history, you know, yeah.
You lost me at calculating.
Huh?
Nothing.
Okay.
May I ask a personal question?
Yeah.
Because you're concentrating on Christianity. I suppose this is because, if I may, because you grew up in this culture, the Polish culture, which is the Catholic, Christian Catholic culture.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just want to, have you thought about studying, for example, Islam or?
Oh yeah, I ran a Quran, but Quran is, I ran some surahs about, but you know, even look at the Prophet Muhammad. He's like a, he's becoming a prophet, and what he experienced in his life and what he did. He was a pedophile, you know, basically. When he became like a big prophet of Islam, Angel Gabriel gave him revelation in the cave. He was like how to say, illiterate. He couldn't read, he couldn't write, but somehow, you know, he found somebody who can, you know, write down his revelation. And throughout his whole, you can look it up, you know, I look at his history is very well documented by the Islam scholars and things like this, and that wasn't good, man, you know, yeah.
All opinions expressed are those of Michael and not those of Merito University or the teacher of this class.
Of course, yeah.
And at my university, when I was in my second university, I had religion classes, and we studied like Mormonism, Church of Christ of Jesus Christ, Church of Christ Scientists, which is, that's the Mormons. Church of Christ Scientists.
Yeah.
And oh my God, Scientology, and things like this.
Yeah.
And I went to these, like the Mormon meetings and things like this. And it's a very interesting topic, like these different religions and what they believe and how they believe it.
Of course, but that's still religion, you know. Real faith, but biblical faith is not religion. It's a relationship with Jesus, you know. But I'm gonna reveal it on the slides because my preamble is too long. I have only like 20 minutes, so okay, I'm going up.
It's great that you're passionate about it.
Yeah.
Mention Chrystusa, put to death by Pontius Pilate. Jewish scholar Flavius Josephus also mentioned Jesus in 93 AD. Flavius wrote a history of his era. A passage says,
"Now there was about this time Jesus, a wise man, if it be lawful to call him a man, for he was a doer of wonderful works."
One of the oldest images of Jesus comes from a graffito. The image was a joke left by a non-Christian. It shows a crucified man with the head of a donkey, but it proves that Jesus was a recognized figure. Greek philosopher Celsus was also anti-Christian, but he seemed to confirm Jesus' existence, stating, "Jesus performed his miracles by sorcery."
Yeah, so we see even a commenting of secular personas back in the day was, you know, confirming his existence. Here we have some about prophecies.
There are 300 prophecies about Jesus from the Old Testament. Prophecies like being a descendant of David, born of a virgin, born in Bethlehem, betrayed by 30 pieces of silver, hands and feet pierced, no bones broken, soldiers casting lots for his clothing, his escape to Egypt, 300 different prophecies. So what are the odds that one person could fulfill all 300? There's a guy by the name of Peter Stoner, which is a very interesting name. How'd you like your last name to be Stoner? Anyway, Peter Stoner was the head of the math and astrology department at Pasadena College in California. And so he decided to calculate the odds of one person fulfilling not 300 prophecies, but just 8.
And here is the follow-up, like from the different guy. Wait a moment. Oh, no, not this one. This one. Yeah. And that guy is Lee Strobel. He is a criminal investigator. I read his book about the case for Christ. I encourage you to read it. Since when I was a non-believer, I started reading it, and there is tons of, you know, scientific facts, scientific archaeological facts, and proves that that Jesus was really existing, and things that he done throughout his life. So it's very interesting book, yeah. And he was atheist by himself, and he tried to disprove as well the Bible. So he was coming to the biggest universities on earth or in America. He was speaking with a ton of specialists in the field, with archaeologists, like biologists, like theologians, and he was gathering all the information. And at the end of his book, he just came to conclusion that you have to put more faith to stay an atheist than to become a Christian, you know. And nowadays he's one of the biggest evangelicals in America.
At Westmont College, named Peter Stoner. And Peter Stoner said one day, he said, you know what, you can quantify the likelihood, what are the odds that any one of these prophecies could be fulfilled? For instance, Micah says, Westmont. Micah says that the Messiah would be born in Bethlehem. Well, how many people have been born in Bethlehem? So you can figure out the odds. So he got a group of mathematics students together. He said, let's run the odds.
Because there are like 61 prophecies just of the Messiah.
Right, so he took 48 of them, and he said, let's run the numbers. Here's his question. What are the odds that any human being throughout history could fulfill 48 of these prophecies? And they calculated it was one chance in a trillion.
Wow.
That's equal to the number of atoms, like that's like one atom in a trillion billion universes. I mean, this is an astronomical, it's not 12 trillion, it's 12 trillions. You know, the odds of any human being fulfilling this, I talked to one physicist, I said, when you get the numbers that big, what are the odds it can actually happen? He said, oh, we scientists have a term for that. I said, what is it? He said, ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, and here is the reference about the cross reference all over the whole Bible.
Markers down here are all the books of the Bible and chapters. The length of it is the number of verses in the chapter, and I want you to see every one of these lines that connects. The darker the line, the more hyper connections, and it has a rainbow of pictures to show how interconnected the Bible is. Guess how many connections in the Bible? 63,000 connections in the Bible. If this was the work composed by one man, we would say this man is a master. The problem is, this is written by 40 different men over 1,500 years on 3 continents, Europe, Asia, and Africa, in 3 different languages, Greek, Hebrew, and Aramaic. And the entire book tells one united story. It's all connected together. You find me another book in all of human civilization that even scratches the surface.
Yeah, so it's pretty intense. When I start to read it, I said, this is fairy tale and things like this. But only even the style, how it's written and things like that, it's so unbelievably, like you getting a feeling that no human written it, because there is so something like pureness and humility and things like this. Now this is I was big skeptic. I was atheist my whole life, and I changed my mind since I started to. Even my wife told me that I switched. I was way different guy. I was partying. I was going crazy parties, things like this, drugs and things, and everything switched since I started. And there was like a automatic switch through only scriptures, so okay, but I'm going through next. Here is the interesting part about, for example, Ark of Noah.
A Turkish army captain stumbled upon something extraordinary, having grown up hearing the stories of Noah's Ark. Captain Darubinar couldn't believe his eyes as he looked upon a boat-shaped formation in the ground. A team of archaeologists was called to investigate what would become a project spanning more than 60 years. Initially, the site was dismissed as a geological anomaly, but things changed dramatically in 2019. A ground-penetrating radar scan revealed subterranean layers and angular structures, which are uncommon in natural formations. Specifically, parallel lines 9 feet below
And when they scanned this area and measured it, it was corresponding practically perfectly with the length in the Bible of the ark, yeah? So that was pretty, yeah?
This reminds me of the Mormons.
Mormons, yeah?
Is the John Smith? Oh my God. Who was the founder of John Smith, right? Anyway, the guy who founded
Yeah,
the
Smith,
Mormons.
but yeah.
He said that, so the Mormon Bible says that there were Egyptians in America, North America, and they built pyramids. And the Mormons are spending a lot of time and money to find the pyramids in North America. No success yet, but they're looking.
Okay. I'm going to show you one small clip of John Lennox, a prolific and very popular mathematician, Oxford mathematician, who is as well a Christian, and he is speaking pretty good things about everything and how to, for example, discern religion from, you know, original relationship that is in the Bible.
You see, of every worldview in religion, I ask several questions. And when it comes to religions, I ask, what is the shape of the religion? How is relationship with God determined? So let's just confine ourselves, for sake of illustration, to God-fearing religions. Not religions that don't really believe in God and so on, but God-fearing religions, like the three I've mentioned. And what I discover by constant questioning of people is that there's a general pattern, that there's some sort of initiation rite, perhaps performed on a child, perhaps performed on an adult, and the person is on the way. And the descriptor, the way, is often used, and I often draw this, and I draw a little door, you get in, and a wavy line, this is the way it goes up and down, and then there's a gate, another big door at the far end, and I draw the scales of justice there. And at the other side of that gate is nirvana, heaven, what have you, paradise. And I say, as you're on the way, you have various people that teach you and help you and so on. But even they cannot guarantee your acceptance into heaven or whatever at the end, right? Because you have to go through the final assessment, the judgment. And why is that? Because the principle of the religion is merit. And so you have to hope that with all the teaching you've got and all the experience, that your good deeds will outweigh your bad deeds and you'll be accepted. And I find that by and large, most people say that's exactly what we believe. And I say it's exactly not what I believe. And they say, oh, you're a Christian. You believe as well as I do that good works are important. Yes, I say, I believe they're important, but they're not the basis of acceptance. And they say, but how can that possibly be? Well, I say, you think of that wavy line, and you're on that wavy line, and you cannot, by definition, be sure of acceptance. It's like Birmingham University. You get in, you do your A-levels, wonderful, you're in, and then there are nice professors like me teaching you, and I can't guarantee you get a degree. Why? Because you have to get through finals. That's the day of judgment, folks, isn't it? And many of you remember it. And that is what the vast majority of people think a religion is. And then I drop a little bomb into their minds. And I say that that isn't Christianity, folks. In religion, acceptance comes at the end on the basis of an assessment of merit. Well, if that's religion, Christianity is not a religion. It's a relationship. And acceptance comes at the beginning. That's practical.
Yeah. So, you know, we as Catholics was told that, you know, you have to make good deeds, you have to go to church, you have to go testimony, you have to, you know, all these sacraments, you have to, you know, be fulfilling the law of the church to be saved. And in Bible, it's way different, and we are being lied to all our lives, because the Catholic Church and all religion is only for profits and things like this, to enslave you. As it says in Ephesians, for it's by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not from yourselves, it is the gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast. Yeah.
Mike,
Yeah.
I'm guessing, it sounds like you're very passionate about this, which is great.
Yeah.
Anyone who's passionate about anything.
Yeah. Okay, so I will switch the theologic speech, and I will go to some interesting things about Catholics and real fast.
Yeah, rock and roll.
This is all idolatry, you know, which God hates in the Bible. Giving the grace to the idols and things. Look at the Catholic Church, where in the real Decalogue is, you know, you will not bow down before of the items of idolatry, you know, and yeah, this is side of a Lucifer, you know. Upside cross, you know, upside down cross. You can check for yourself, you know, it's pretty. I showed you some of these clips on previous presentations, okay? And this is how the audience of Vatican papacy building looks like. This is like, you know, blasphemous statue of Jesus.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
No, in my opinion, this is how it is. You know, even look how the whole building is created. You know. I don't have a time, but here is some extras about the sentencing of Benedict XVI for 20 years for killing like a Vatican organized some like seminars for kids in Canada, and there was like, you know, officially 4,120 children die while in the care of the schools, mostly from diseases such as tuberculosis that ran rampant according to government statistics, but estimates range considerably higher. And there was, you know, exploited of sexual harassment, things like this. So, and there is a ton of evidence even in the internet. You can look up for yourselves. This is very, even the commandments are changed in the Bible, you know. In the Catholic Bible, it's way differs than, for example, Protestant's Bible, where you have, you know, like you shall not take the name of the Lord God in vain in the second, and in the Protestant Bible you have, yeah.
In the Canadian case, like a couple weeks ago, the Canadian government decided to destroy all records connected with all of that, like the schools, the schools that we're talking about. And I forgot the justification for that. But so now the survivors are trying to, like, you know, get all the information before the government destroys it.
Yeah.
I forgot why they're doing that. There was a justification.
You know what? And this is censorship, because back in the day I was looking at this websites, and I still could look for this information. Okay, I want to show you just final prophecies that from our book of Revelation, the the latest one. And here is, for example, they make an anime about this, Mark of the Beast, which Neuralink and Elon Musk are working about. And this is happening already. I will show you reference in Bible when it's saying about this.
And even shoot video. Distribution points are all over the city.
And we have it in Sweden already.
Sweden is taking wearable technology to the next level by implanting microchips into their staff. Yes, that's right.
And right now Elon Musk planting microchips in your brain, you know, and you don't have to have smartphone or anything. You are directly connected to the server.
The radio frequency identification chip, which is about the size of a grain of rice, allows users to open doors, swap contact details, and use the photocopier. It felt pretty scary, but
yeah, and you have this reference from the book of Revelation. The second beast was given power to give breath to the image of the first beast, so the image could speak and cause all who refused to worship the image to be killed. It also forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hands, on their foreheads, so they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of its name. Yeah.
Maya, would you rather have an RFID chip in your wrist or in your forehead?
In my wrist. If I had to choose, in my wrist.
So, yeah, you open the door, you have to look.
Yeah. Can you imagine? There's one like for a coffee, you have to put your head in the counter.
Okay, and last one, I only would like to show you the symbols,
Meaning envy.
occult symbols in all the...
all-seeing eye of Daniel.
Whoa!
Why the obsession
Whoa.
of robotic eagle
Dude.
eyes, spirals, and surveillance GPUs? But it's not just them. Gmail resembles the Freemason apron.
Dude.
Chrome is a spiral eye shaped like 666. The Play Store triangle mirrors the pyramid. Google's G echoes the Masonic
Whoa.
G. Tesla's T resembles the head of Baphomet.
That I
Apple's
believe.
bitten fruit symbolizes forbidden knowledge. And the first Apple computer sold for 666.66.
Whoa.
Why 666? Why the number of the beast? These aren't random. They're not just logos. They are signatures. Ritual symbols embedded in your daily tech. You carry them in your pocket. You whisper to them. You sleep beside them. They are watching, logging, learning, because they serve the eye. The Dajjalic system no longer hides. It flaunts itself in plain sight. They are not just building bunkers. They are building the system of Dajjal. And when he arrives, everything will already be in place. This isn't just about war, or technology, or power. This is about your soul. Because when people are hungry, confused, and digitally erased, they'll accept any false messiah who offers them bread and order. And that is the final step. The coming of the false messiah, the Dajjal. They plot to bring him, but they forget.
Yeah, and this is a reference to the Allah because it's made by some Islam guys. But okay, that's it. And just wanted to open your eyes a little bit wider in these times, because everything that I read in the Bible, I read it fully, and I read New Testament few times, and everything there is happening there, it's actually have reflection nowadays. So that's what's that's what proved to me that this is inspired scripture, and you have to beware and you have to prepare, because in maybe 1 month, and mark my words, in 1 month or in 2 words, we're gonna have new pandemic.
Dude.
Yeah.
You have a question.
Yeah.
You believe in the Old Testament and the New Testament.
Both.
Which of the books is most important to you?
Oh, it's hard to tell with books.
Because it should be the Old Testament.
No,
Because the Old Testament is written a lot of time passed since Jesus died there.
You know what? For example, book of Isaiah. It's one of the oldest books. And for example, Isaiah 53, explaining perfectly the thing that Jesus did on the cross. That he was sacrificed, that he was beaten, that he was punished and everything. Isaiah 53, which was about maybe 670 years before the Christ, reflects everything perfectly. So yeah, all the books are relevant, and everything is consistent to each other. So this is, I encourage you to just look it up for yourselves. Yeah. Joke. I have it. Wait a second. How do you make holy water?
Holy water.
Boil the hell out of
Boil the hell out of it. Thank you, Mike. A man who's passionate about the subject title.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank
And
you.
next, any volunteers? Who knows I'm not going to be here next time?